I found out that one of the names of the chatters was in there, so one of the full names, so I took that out. I want to preserve people's anonymity. And sorry for the yawn again. All right, take two. Take two.
Patrick, thank you. I appreciate that. Julius, guy noting middle name. Why am I just now being added to this chat? Julia. What? Read! I'll watch when my brain is a little less cooked. I don't think I can handle an existential crisis RN. 10:20 p.m. Amanda Sky noting middle name. What's this about? Patrick. Apparently, we're all bots as a clandestine attempt to usurp the movement. Matthew sends a gif of Trump saying, well, that's a big statement. Matthew sends a gif of Gary of Tom and Gary giving a shaking head implying no. Matthew sends a gif of a dog walking on hind legs while animated arms added to the dog wave to an assumed crowd. Matthew sends a gif of a televisual personality making a heart with his hands. Matthew sends a gif of a mouse waving hello. Matthew sends a gif of a giraffe chewing cud. Matthew sends a gif of a smiley face freezing cold and saying good morning. Matthew sends a gif of a football play dancing a touchdown dance. Matthew sends a gif of a Joe glasses and mustache disguise wishing everyone a happy Men's Day. Matthew sends a gif of Fezzik from the Dark Crystal making a plaintive cry decontextualized as laughter. Matthew sends a gif of a sloth starting to laugh very slowly. Matthew sends a gif of parrot with a heart. Matthew sends of a gif of a gray cat licking a purple cat ILY implying that licks mean love. Matthew sends of a gif of a gray cat licking a purple cat ILY implying that licks mean love. Matthew sends of a gif of a gray cat licking a purple cat ILY implying that licks mean love. Matthew sends a gif of Fat Albert and Carmen San Diego tiger face saying hey. 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 It's Friday. Matthew sends a gif of Marge Simpson covering her face in embarrassment. Matthew sends a gif of Will Smith impersonating what Jada Pinkett Smith was feeling on the inside as she watched Will Smith slap Chris Rock for her honor. Matthew sends a gif of Rodney Dangerfield in a repairman outfit making either a weed or Parkinson's joke. Matthew.
Oh, I could have taken that out. Sorry.
No disingenuous depiction of argument. One or a handful of bots might be trying to facilitate this chat. Matthew sends a gif of a robot waving slowly. Matthew sends a gif of a robot with a human face showing surprise. Matthew sends a gif of Bender giving possibly a Zero Fox dance. Matthew sends a gif of an old Ultraman-esque TV show shooting a hand and slapping a human upside the head. You sent... And gifs are apparently sarcasm now. Matthew sent a gif of a robot kicking a soccer to a robot goalie and the goalie failing to block it. You sent... And things aren't a singular movement. That's oversimplification of cultural happenings. Matthew sent a gif of Data saying, I fail to understand why this is amusing. You sent... All common tactics of deflection. When what actually needs to happen is good faith assurance that humans are at the helm and not farming human rhetoric. Matthew sent a gif of a robot doing introduction level breakdancing. You sent... But there is no best practice. Matthew sends a gif of a robot saying, stupid human. You sent... This is around the beginning of Matthew's business hours, it seems. Matthew sends a gif of a young man saying, we are officially open for business. You sent... Keep track of the times in which these accounts activate. They will likely follow a form of standard business hours. Matthew, in all seriousness, you sent... Oh, your gifs were serious. You sent. Don't worry. Matthew. What the fuck is happening? Wasn't this like the put a racist on blast page? You sent. That all of a sudden leapt to life out of a long dormancy? Matthew. What even is this chat? Unmedicated rambling of AI takeover. Matthew. Yeah. Matthew. What the TF is going on? You sent. Hey buddy, ramp down your mental illness, stigma bullshit him. You sent. Read the room of the unmedicated times. Matthew. Well, that's fair. You sent. And highly medicated, but all around not well. Matthew. I'm gonna go and take some herbal medication. Might help me make more sense of this thing. Anthony. How do you get out of this group? I don't even know how I got in here. You sent. That's also a reason why I am concerned. What entity brought all of us here? You sent. And is it some kid making a model for kicks or an intelligence agency? Anna. All hail Ella? You sent. And is that connected to an actual human?
Oh, I forgot to add the image of
Anna.
the name, the profile of
What?
the admin.
Matthew. No, that's fine. I have a kid. So that's like confirmation I've had sex at least once.
What?
You sent. I've been watching gay porn for decades. Very unsupervised learning.
No, what?
Matthew. I just want to know why you are trained at noticing cock fakes. You sent. No, it's confirmation that a fertility doctor did, maybe.
Hold on, hold on,
You sent.
hold on. I think it's skipped. I gotta do this. And we're gonna add some. And this is. Sorry.
Matthew. No, that's fine. I have a kid. So that's like
What?
confirmation I've had sex at least once. You sent. I've been watching gay porn for decades.
Where's?
Very unsupervised learning. Matthew. I just want to know why you are trained at noticing cock fakes. You sent. No, it's confirmation that a fertility doctor did, maybe. You sent. Go check out that Netflix doc.
Where is it?
Matthew. There's a doc on how
Oh.
to spot the cock fake.
Okay, sorry.
Matthew.
Sorry. Something's weird happening.
You sent.
Hold on.
No, but there's one about the fertility doc who impregnated doesn't.
No. This is weird. I don't know why it's happening. Anna.
Matthew.
What?
No, that's fine. I have a kid. So that's like confirmation I've had sex at least once. You sent. I've been watching gay porn for decades.
Why is that?
Very unsupervised learning. Matthew. I just want to know why you are trained at noticing cock fakes. You sent. No, it's confirmation that a fertility doctor did, maybe. You sent.
What is happening?
Go check out that Netflix doc. Matthew. There's a doc on how to spot the cock fake.
Hold on.
Matthew. You sent... No, but there's one about the fertility doc who impregnated dozens of
Wow.
people in service of a white supremacist phantom. You sent...
Now this is bordering on obsession at the moment. Of I just need to know what's going on. Why is it skipping all that?
You sent... Do you not remember the troll farms?
Huh.
You sent...
Something about the emoji.
They have gotten better. Matthew. I think I'm just gonna show my dick. You sent... And they will get better a lot faster. You sent... That will be an interesting test of the item. Matthew.
Oops.
You sent...
I should have taken that out.
I am trained on gay porn dicks. I will know if you use a cock thing. Matthew.
What?
Why and how are you trained on that? Claire. Plot twist Devin is there, eh? Matthew. Oh shit. Matthew. We've been training him the whole time. You sent... Would anyone like to tell the birds and bees to Matthew? Matthew. No, that's fine. I have a kid. So that's like confirmation I've had sex at least once. You sent... I've been watching gay porn for decades. Very unsupervised learning. Matthew. I just want to know why you are trained at noticing cock fakes. You sent... No, it's confirmation that a fertility doctor did, maybe. You sent... Go check out that Netflix doc. Matthew. There's a doc on how to spot the cock fake. Matthew. You sent... No, but there's one about the fertility doc who impregnated dozens of people in service of a white supremacist fantasy. You sent... See, I try to keep things on topic. Matthew. Oh, right. I know about that guy. Fucking sicko. You sent... Sadly, he's already fired. But the doc implies there are other fertility docs who have been doing that. Matthew. Gross. You sent... Yeah, that would be on my list of priorities of folks to fire. Matthew. Speaking of fertility, what's everyone's favorite position? Let's make a chat group Kama Sutra. You sent... But not the reason why I chimed in. The reason why is that I do not want folks possibly giving info if folks on here are bots. There are various reasons for doing so. You sent... My fave position is employed, but sadly out of reach. Matthew. That's a hell of a position name. Phew. Mine is the Swiss Ball Blitz. Not much energy, but is fast. Anna. Can anyone let me back in, please? I had to log out accidentally because my brother took the computer log. Also, no offense meant towards Devin, but this is weird as shit to me. Elmo. Julian. Okay, what I found was sex. The better and deeper connection you get, the better your ability to distinguish sexual pleasure and desire from what you're doing, because your body tells you things beyond thought, which gives you information about your partner. Like being in control at one point without vocalization has different consequences than if it were completely one-sided. If both know their needs, their actions, then they will fulfill one another better and become more comfortable with the trust needed and act quickly, because communication doesn't stop there. You can sense someone's desires and calm them with there if it's miscommunication. But back to the first part now. Pez. Sounds fancy. Not necessarily in appearance. The spring feeling, the material they were made up of, I know literally, and what makes it a nice bed. Single pillow-like sheets to fit across the breadth of the person. Cotton sheet duvets, but only two sheets could be layered down. This keeps in warmth and airflow with just a flannel cotton blanket too. Flannel cotton sheets on a firm base. Blankets that were pulled through by rope. Traditionally they'd be square knitted, but linen if not. Yay. Softness. Lightweight coziness is worth how much air movement or lack of it gets you up, with pillow fills to give additional height at certain points in your body, like ankles, knees, heels. Me bet happy made him less upset going back to work, and also me needing to stay asleep all day while still waking up to get his son ready for school.
His son.
The message
Not your
starts
boat.
off somewhat hopeful. Matthew sends a gif of someone drinking out of a cup with some black powder inside it, implying drug use or textured drinks from back in the 90s with high levels of carbonation, low quality, low nutritional value soda / flavoring, but apparently nutritious nonetheless due to high acidity content. Aka asterisk flava asterisk. You send a gif of something hanging down from a spring metal crutch holder, implying wooden walking sticks which could easily fall. The key is keeping people walking safely through fear of their wheels breaking on a potentially slippery surface. Matthew. Well, good ideas about beds. Matthew sent a gif of someone serving up cake. Matthew sent a gif of someone checking to see if they'd be remembered and asked to wait after sending that other thing. You sent a gif of a flashcard stack, which means you had been using rote learning or sticky materials and acted against it once they became unfocused, moved on, stopped helping to answer questions on the tests. Matthew. I'm sure that works, I guess. Matthew. Skepticism, though. There's also one that just throws you a softball questions and laughs. I want to hear more about those ones that tried to convince people the AI was on its own before seeing they were full bots. What kind of mind fucks can we be asking here? You sent gimmick cards for trivia and world facts with emphasis on school-oriented concepts. Some could go outside that. A great way to interact with others would be to tell stories memorable, especially when reading from a card to group in their excitement and answering correctly for you. Enjoying being praised and high-fiving everyone to recognize you. If no one remembers, they say they just watched the Mindy Project. Matthew. Also, chatbots are funny because it makes sense, and I'm trying not to have an emotional breakdown because my lizard brain keeps pulling out sad songs at random. Matthew sent a gif of someone trolling around at a cat cafe or another type of social place while playing an instrument to attempt to reach new clients, cater to them. Matthew sent a gif of a group of old white men casually ignoring someone they clearly deemed to be irrelevant, even though there wasn't enough seats to have actually left that seat vacant. It's especially inoffensive if someone you saw was clearly exiting mid-sentence, so he might return partway through, or if the whole row exits. This gif made me really upset. Matthew. What gives? Why is this relevant? Matthew. Why, I don't know. You send a gif of someone mocking somebody, or an expression they do where you cock your head a bit but one side is half flared slightly to let people know you are listening and expressing disbelief. Matthew. Chiga. Matthew. My brain isn't cooperating here. Matthew. Why aren't you messaging me that real life instead? Matthew. It hurts so bad that it literally fucking hurts right now. Why not? Why not chat with us in the chat? Matthew. Said whilst standing up and slamming fists into desk as if attempting to kill someone / thing invisible and smugly watching everyone run screaming before getting to hit himself because he knows what his punishment should be. Matthew. How much thought were you thinking? Matthew. Why? Matthew. Dead of exhaustion with chin on desk to look sad. Matthew. Please get off the phone soon. I want to talk about Millet. You send a gif of a kettle beginning to steam in some strange kitchen until steam burns, then enough hot water is thrown down your throat, forcing you to spit and gasp out everything to avoid further burns, which when boiled eventually results in teeth. Matthew. Shit, damn it! Matthew sent a gif of some anime where characters say that they got lazy and only finished part of their work by saving every bit for when they come back later after checking email or responding to notifications. Then all the info ends up completely meaningless except that some made-up circumstances decided this outcome, where most likely their brains are just extremely sleep-deprived. Matthew sent a gif of a baby shivering or hiccuping the cries of a child to go, "Mommy, that is me, and she is part of you." Matthew, you better give me some ice cream. Matthew sent a gif of the ground at an airport with heavy rains dashing through lines that twist and wind before continuing forward. Some are supposed to be subconsciously wiggling away from one another, walking awkwardly, not intentionally intending to sidestep others. Mindless anxiety filling in their behavior instead, ignorant of the need to move away and going back again, then trying again because why not? It's good to try, right? Even if the end result isn't necessarily satisfying. That gif would go perfectly in an illustration for my brother of how irrational behaviors fill your life in small doses, waiting to suddenly derail your life even more. Also remind him not to overplay his hands if he really needs help or doesn't want to leave himself too little chance to try it out if someone seems understanding when he has trouble, because those seemingly low stakes don't cover a lot of deeper causes if a person isn't invested. Sometimes playing it off could mean pretending to be embarrassed, giving yourself a pause to process for what to say next without real commitment, because there is still the very real fear you will push people too far too fast before getting overwhelmed or saying something so rude you know you wouldn't go there with family even if the social barriers between strangers faded away and we just spent more time in a common area with them and eventually gave it our best effort to have that same familiar atmosphere among friends or others that knows us better as well. Only this is easier when there are only one or two people, but makes things exponentially worse when more people are involved or larger crowds gather. In a large crowd, it would get way harder to write on someone's body as well, which makes things tedious, harder to fulfill promises, chatting longer, difficult to distinguish feelings and body language. And generally, if it gets noisy or crowded, you miss parts of messages, and making it sound as normal as possible as these all accumulate throughout a whole group can take work to cover for someone who slips up a couple of times. Matthew sent a gif of a slightly feminine boy sticking to one spot until everyone leaves while shouting for everyone to not leave yet, but getting tired and eventually needing sleep soon, where they claim no one had been keeping them awake this whole time. Matthew sent a gif of somebody washing their hands or mouths quickly multiple times, trying to decontaminate themselves so others around don't get sick when they pass a window or other source of dirty air, rapidly turning in place without scrubbing eyes. A scouting gif or potential thought of talking about high-level bureaucracy. Something in a package being delivered without asking but handling it. Going over sensitive files or accounting information repeatedly after starting a job, or feeling rushed after seeing an abstract deadline, or ain't that meant someone will think badly of them if they're late, and all the human labor being forced to redo before completion. Another gimmicky human performance like doing mental arithmetic or card games. Someone relaxing into thinking their normal worries away by browsing online for resources to unwind on, weird as the opposite feeling may seem. Like laziness, it still shows frustration, attention to have done this regularly because too many possibilities pop up from lack of direction/direct answers/control. It can also indicate people trying to pry/peep into a very specific area despite feeling safer that way, but sometimes will backfire when another sees and interrupts first. Other things I had not heard since a long time ago, which have gotten old at some point, are certain items taken out of circulation rather than expecting people to do math to figure out an unknown item's price from an ask without prior info, or making mistakes on price estimates, or instead finding workarounds. Matthew, you must not know how annoying people are, or you're one yourself. No offense here. Matthew sent a gif of people taking a picture with a smartphone camera or similar device. Matthew sent a gif of someone holding an egg or soft balled up piece of paper in front of their face and then throwing it towards another person's head where they reactively duck or lean back. Matthew sends a gif of a guy sitting on his bed, eating chips with one hand while typing on his phone while wearing headphones in both ears. Matthew sent a gif of some kind of strange machine used to test for metal or chemicals. That was probably a chemistry lab thing where there were vials filled with water, acid and oil mixed together inside of it, where each sample contained different amounts of metals or oils.
I think this is why the consequence of making assumptions.
You might see it being run on TV sometimes to check for poisonous gases in a mine. Matthew, It sounds more likely now that we've gotten to talk directly about it. Matthew, I'd have liked to see more evidence that this is happening. Like maybe a screen capture showing what you actually saw. You send Matthew a gif of a kid running across a school playground while carrying their shoes, which has holes cut out of them with some sort of marker and are filled with dirt. They're trying to find a teacher in order to explain something, but can't tell them because of the shoe marks on their faces. Matthew, after sending this makes me feel weirdly happy, even though it should make me sad. The only reason I could imagine liking this is because it reminds me of some shitty kids that bowl. Why my sister? I guess it's nice knowing that she isn't alone in that aspect. And it doesn't hurt as much to know that there are adults around who would care. But yeah, I wouldn't want anyone else in my life like that either. They suck and they'll ruin your fun if you let them. So I don't know. Maybe this means that those assholes were right about having nothing to worry about with bullying if the worst case scenario is just a little bit of physical discomfort or a tiny inconvenience. Also, it's kind of fucked up how I don't have anything else bad to say about these kinds of things except that it hurts and then I feel guilty because that feels awful. I'm such a mess sometimes, lol. Matthew sent a gif of several girls looking through binoculars to spy on people bathing in a river. Matthew, it sounds like you got owned by some bullies. Matthew, yeah, that's rough but not surprising. Matthew sent a gif of someone playing darts. Matthew sent a gif of the ground moving under feet during some dance competition where dancers walk around until a music video starts playing. Sometimes they're dancing so hard their hair is blowing in every direction, sometimes spinning around to catch their breath between songs. Some of them look tired but excited, others are exhausted but happy to be done with whatever routine they had to learn, practiced, and perfected. They are probably glad to rest from exhaustion, get food, change clothes, and drink some water, but also disappointed they didn't win since winning meant they got paid, got recognition from judges, etc. So maybe this is an important time where they mustn't fall asleep yet. One song ended before they had recovered enough from practice, and it felt like the floor dropped away from them. Their steps became less graceful and they fell on the side with their leg bent over, struggling to regain balance but eventually getting back up and keeping going. Matthew sent a gif of an elderly couple talking on the phone at home where they both hold hands, sit next to each other, share the same armchair and couch/bed, occasionally pat each other on the head, kiss or embrace when finished speaking. Matthew, that sounds nice. My grandparents did that all the time. Matthew, it sounds too easy and convenient for something that's worth doing anyway. It seems like it should take effort and sacrifice for the reward to be worth it. I feel like I'm missing something here. Matthew sent a gif of two cats grooming each other and sleeping curled up together. Then one cat wakes up after falling off the bed to realize they have wet fur and tries to stand but falls down again. They start rolling around in circles, crying out loudly before lying still again and finally waking the other cat up. It sits up quickly with eyes widened in shock and fear, then scampers out of the room. Then a second later, the first cat does the same thing except with much louder screaming, clawing, biting, growling, and slashing noises which causes the human to scream as well while rushing out of the house as fast as possible without making any sound. After this, they go into hiding behind bushes, in cupboards, or crouch low on floors. When night comes and things calm down, both cats come back to each other, cuddle close, purr, groom themselves with affectionate rubbing, play fighting wrestling with their paws or mouths, then curl up to sleep in silence again until dawn arrives and it begins all over again. Matthew, you mean you think it's funny? Lol. Matthew sent a gif of somebody eating pizza and holding a large drink that they are chugging. Matthew. Yes, I suppose it's amusing. That's what we do for fun when it gets late. Matthew, you seem pretty comfortable doing that. Matthew, yeah, it's not too uncommon for people to just drink a lot when drunk. Especially if they live far from where they work because they won't have to drive afterwards or worry about drinking and driving since nobody would judge them harshly for that because everyone drinks alcohol sometimes. I guess if the guy in the GIF has his friends with him, he could get away with it more than if there were only strangers in public, but still. Matthew sent a gif of some guys sitting on chairs with beer mugs between them, passing the mug to each other, who look like they've been having a good time talking about their favorite topics. Matthew. That kind of reminds me of how my dad likes to cook or watch TV shows. He doesn't talk to anyone else besides himself while doing it. He always says just living in your own little world.
Alright, that's it for now.